Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We're letting everyone in, but hello, everyone on Facebook. And of course, anyone who took time out of their busy schedules to watch today's workshop. Every Wednesday, Best Homes has a workshop at 10 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and mute Tristan real quick before I echo the heck out of it. Every morning we have a workshop on Wednesdays, once a month, by the way. Fun fact, we have a free CE class. Last month, I kind of made a boo-boo. We did 2 free CE classes in 1 month. So this month, if anyone's wondering, I wasn't able to do another one. But mid-October, we're going to have a free CE class on 1031 Exchange. Shout out to Eddie out there who suggested it. So just fun fact there. But every Wednesday at 10 a.m., the workshops are designed to kind of sharpen your skills, maybe give you some ideas, rehance some of the business pillars out there because there's tons of them. And we have a coach directly from within our brokerage and sponsors out there who kind of sponsor other people out there. And today I'm so happy to announce Toby, our Scottsdale success manager, is hosting a workshop, and she is going to share how to prepare and win at the listing appointment. I call her the listing queen. I know Alan might take the listing king status out here, but Ms. Toby has a lot of secrets, and she's going to share her secret sauce today on how to, again, prepare and win at the listing appointment. So without further ado, Toby, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your time and tips to winning at the listing appointment.
Sounds good. Thanks, Melissa. Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna, this is more, it's not really about your total listing presentation. This is going to be a lot about the preparation before, because that is as critical, or if not more important. Showing up to that appointment prepared is very, very important. So that's kind of what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about what you do while you're there, and then we're also going to talk about follow-up. So that's where you win the deals as well. So let's just get started. We're going to start with preparation. So, sorry. There we go. So this is a little sheet that I just created myself. It's a tool I use. I like information at my fingertips. If not, I'm all over the place. So it helps me control where I put everything. And of course, as this information comes in, then you can put it in your CRM. But when you're talking to someone, it's what I use to prepare for the consultation. I take it with me to the consultation, and I continue to make notes on it there. So it has all the data in one spot. So I'm just going to kind of go through it just a little bit. Most of it is pretty basic information, because you're going to ask, all of these things. Some of it you won't get until you're actually at the appointment, but the other information, as you can find out as you're looking at old MLS listings or anything, the more information, the better. And so if you'll go down, and in that box, it says cash offer. And the reason I have that on there is back when the market was so high, I always tried to get cash offers before I went to any consultation. It's a little more difficult now because things have changed, but I will say certain levels of houses, the more expensive houses, they're not doing it anymore. They've really cut most of that off. But with your in between that, like 500 or less, it's kind of, you'll find some good offers out there still, because it depends on what their inventory is. And where I have cash offer, number one, in case the client sees it while I'm at the consultation, that's why I say cash offer, and I don't put like who it's through, but I always just go to opendoor.com. I put in the information and I get a generated cash offer that I can provide to them while there, if I feel like we need it, and just for my own information. Sometimes that's not available. I have cash offer number 2 there because after the consultation, I have a lot of investors, a lot of other people, and I can take any photos I took and send it out. And so if anything else comes in, I put that information there. So that's more for my information, just what to share. On the cash offers really quick, because that's not what this is about. You're going to go to some listing consultations and you're going to go, this would be a nightmare to list. And that's when a cash offer is really nice, because they don't have to show the house. They don't have to prepare and all those things. So it never hurts to try. And we can, if you have questions about the open door stuff, please reach out to me and I can explain it all to you guys. And then I also have on there FSBO, yes or no, because I use the same sheet whenever I'm soliciting FSBOs. I go ahead, that way I know exactly who I'm dealing with, because I may be having a listing consultation with the for sale by owner, but I also use a lot of this same technique when I don't even have a listing appointment. They've just said I can come by and see the house. Whenever I've called a for sale by owner and I said, do you mind if I just come by and look? I'm still going to go and I'm still going to treat it like a listing consultation, where I'm going to leave them some good information and try to speak with them. So all of that is there for that reason. And so if they are on the market for sale by owner, I have the listing price, what sites they're on, how many days on market, that kind of information. So that's what all that is. And yes, I have Zestimate on there. The reason is, we want to speak your client's language. They're looking at this estimate. So they think it's like gospel and Redfin and all those things. So you want to know what they're looking at too, because sometimes it's so far off and then sometimes it's not, so I use all of that for that reason. And then this part below, that's just where I can kind of can scribble some highlights when I'm doing my comps and put all that in there. And then on the back side of this sheet is when I'm walking through the house and I'm asking the questions, what conveys, that kind of thing. And then the upgrade special features, I take notes all through the house with this thing. So this is just a useful tool I wanted to share, but I use it in my preparation. All right. So comps, let's talk about that second. That is critical in your, your prep for your listing consultation. They're very difficult right now. It's different. We can't just go back to what sold the last 3 to 6 months and get a good, a number and go with it. It doesn't work that way right now. So we've got to be really smart. So look at the active and coming soons. Look at the pricing on it. Look at how many days on market is going on. This is their competition and they need to see that. Now, it doesn't mean that those are priced right. So don't let that be just your pricing, because some of those, we are seeing it still. Houses are still coming on the market, some of them too high. A lot of these sellers are still living in that dream that they can get more than they, what they used to could get. So, but that is a good source to go with. And then the pendings and under contracts. These are really important too. So call the agent that has it and get as much information as you possibly can. It's funny. I love to call an agent and them just tell you everything. And sometimes they'll tell you exactly every contract, everything. And that's great. Sometimes they won't, but say questions like, okay, if you can't tell me exactly, I totally understand. Can you give me a ballpark? Are you close to your ask price, or is it, under, over? And you get that kind of information, because when you sit down with them, they're going to say, my neighbor, Nancy, she's priced at 640 and she's under contract. And you can now say, yeah, but you know what? They're actually in a contract for more like 615, because they were a little overpriced. And, so that's very important, because you can totally knock that off the table instantly without them, and remove that thought from their, from their head. And then look at the closed. We got to know the closed. That's part of it. Don't go back too far. Honestly, it's almost like the last month. That's about it. You could go back 3 months, but it's good. You're definitely going to see, if you're doing that, then take a percentage off of that. And but you do want to see the movement in the neighborhood. You want to look, how many days on market is it taking to sell these houses? That kind of information. So really study these comps and prepare them. I typically put them together. And I separate them out in the active, because that is their active competition. And that's what they're kind of actively watching. And then the pending, under contract, and close together. Let's see. Let's hang on just a second. Also, study the statistics. So we get an email, I think we got it back around mid-month from Armless. It does a kind of a market update and will tell us some stuff. You're going to get, it's going to tell you the percentage of increase, or how many houses are on the market, days on market, things like that. So study all the stats too. The Cromford report that we just got on Friday, that we just got the invitation to. The third Friday of every single month, they do a review for us. Magnus does, and it's excellent. and it will just give you great verbiage, things you can share at these consultations. I mean, study a few of those lines. You'll sound so smart, but you got to think, guys, you got to go in like you are the absolute expert. Even if you don't feel like the expert, you fake it till you make it, or you take one of us with you, whatever it is to get in that door in that appointment, but to come across confident and as much knowledge as possible, because they're hiring you for a reason. They think sometimes you get these sellers that think they know everything, and you have to be confident in what you're saying, or you're not going to feel very good arguing with them, or not arguing, but explaining that might not be correct now in this market, and saying it confidently. So the more homework you do, the more information and better you're going to feel, about things as well. Let's see. So pretty much on pricing, that's what we're talking about. You need to get in your head what you are going to price this house at, because they're going to they have prices in their mind already when you get there, but you are the expert. Just remember, you are the expert. You're the professional. There's a reason that you're coming over. There's a reason that they're hiring you. And if you just let them price the house, it's more than likely going to be too high. And I've heard a lot of agents do that. They're like, well, I'll just let the seller set the price. That's what, then what are you, you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. Just making the client happy in that moment is not going to make the client happy in the long run. I'll use an example. I had a house hit the market right before you could see the shift coming. You kind of felt it, but it hadn't really happened yet. So they were still living in that dream. I really thought the house needed to be listed at $1 million. It was a great listing, by the way. I thought $1 million was almost pushing it, but they were adamant that they wanted like 1.2. And it was so far off, but in the hot market and not a lot of competition, of course, that would have flown because people were paying everything, over. And so we went back and forth, and she said the only thing they would go with was 1.15. And I just agreed with it and went on because the market was so good. I didn't really argue too much. Well, you know what? We got, the market was shifting, things were changing, the showings were slowing down, and having that conversation with them to lower the price, they would constantly say to me, you said this. And I was like, no, actually I said, and they're like, I don't remember saying that. And they're going to argue because they're getting emotional at this point. Their house isn't selling. They're getting a little ticked off. They don't have anybody to be mad at. They're mad at the market, but you're sitting in front of them and you're the one guiding them. So now all of a sudden they're going to put it back on you. And I had a really hard time with that listing ever getting the price lowered. And they were angry with me because it's a very disheartening, upsetting thing when they have to start seeing this price lower and lower. So if you can adjust it in the very beginning to be correct, then your clients are going to be happier. You're going to be happier. It's just an easier situation. And then also a good false assumption. Some people say it doesn't matter if it's too high. They're just going to make an offer that's low anyway. And that's not really the case, guys. That is you're going to get some offers that come in low, but a lot of people won't even come look at the house if they think it's priced too high. They automatically say that's an unreasonable seller, or something like that, or they're still living in a dream, and they're just watching that. They're just sitting back and watching the prices go down is what in their head these buyers are doing, and they're not coming to see your house. And that's not helping anybody either. It's such a negative thing. And then also the old rule of, there's another company that does it and still doing it. They price really low because it gets a lot of activity, and then you're going to get all these multiple offers. Okay, that would be great if that was still going on, but it's not. That's the thing. It's not. You might be lucky if it does, but you've really got to get your pricing correct, because if you talk a seller into pricing low for multiple offers and then they don't get multiple offers and they sold for low, whose fault's that? They're going to be mad at you. They are not going to be happy. They're going to regret the decision that they hired you. And so again, be accurate in your pricing. We are back to doing real math, real comps, real things. So take it serious. All right, let's talk about commissions a little bit too. So setting your commissions, get it in your head before you go. And it depends on who you're dealing with. I don't want to ever just like discount everything, but right now, there are a lot of listings out there, but there's also a lot to be had. And so if you don't have any business at all, don't go out there and say, I will only do 3%. This is just my opinion. Go get the listing. If you don't have anything else to work, go get the listing, because if you go get that listing, you can now circle market it. You can do open houses. You have a tool you can actually use. So be smart whenever you're thinking about these commissions right now, because there's a lot of hungry agents out there that we're going to be in competition with. Another thing, FSBOs. You're not going to get them at a high percentage. And so one of the things with FSBOs I have often done, I'll even do 1% on a for sale by owner, because they are off market because they don't want to pay an agent. And you need them to pay the other side, because we want people to come see the house. And so that is one that, the 1%, I would be careful, because if it's under 3,000, it becomes a little too low. So maybe set your marketing with the for sale by owner that it's a $3,000 flat fee or 1%, a minimum of a 3%, and, and then 1% if not. So decide on that, what you're kind of thinking. I have had, for sale by owners go as high as 2, but that is the highest I've ever gotten one to sign on. And that's just me personally. But again, they're out there because they are trying to save money. So let's go back to the traditional. So how important is that listing to you? If you go into and you've done your homework, let's say, and they have a really big mortgage and they don't have a lot of equity in the house, maybe that's a good reason to, they have a different motivation there. The commissions are going to be very important to them as well. Really expensive homes, when you go into the super high commissions, it's very expensive. So you just kind of have to be smart. However, one great negotiating tool is say, I will list for this if you let me allow you to help you buy a house too. So a lot of people will do only 1% if they get the buy side as well. So there's a lot of negotiation tools as you're coming up with commissions. And so maybe just talk to your success manager too. You can kind of decide on where you want to be at and what you want to go in at. Know the neighborhood. Okay, I learned this the hard way. This is just a great lesson we all need, especially on the west side where you've got newer neighborhoods or the huge communities all over that have tons of stuff like the multiple pools, the clubhouses, the fitness centers. They have all kinds of things. There's a lot. Robeson Ranch is one of them. And that was my example. So I go to this listing consult. I think I'm prepared. I've done my comps. I did some of the things we talked about, did my deal. And I did not, he started interviewing me. He wanted to know exactly what I wanted, what I knew about this community. And he turned the table on me. And you know what? I didn't know that much. Could I have figured it out? It was so simple. It would have taken me another 10 minutes to probably drive through it. He goes, so you tell me. He said, you came in one gate, where's the other? And he's like, it's actually more crowded, and he was a little bit of an ornery old guy, but he wanted me to know my stuff. And he quizzed me on how many pickleball courts. He quizzed me on all kinds of things. And I did not know. I failed miserably. When I told him, I was like, that is all things that I'm going to leave here right now and learn. Anytime I get a listing, I know all about it, but he wanted me to know before I got there. He was not important his view was he was not very important in my eyes, that I didn't take the time to do this. So know the neighborhood, know all of these things, talk their language, go, oh my gosh, do you all use the fitness center, or are you all in a pickleball league or whatever it is? And then they realize, oh, she actually knows Robeson, because there's a lot of agents that pride themselves on certain neighborhoods. And they want all of them. And you know what? They do know everything. And that's often the go-to. So if you want to beat them out, you need to have as much knowledge as they do. So do the research and know the neighborhood. So I build like it's just a listing consultation folder. I have mine here, and I put in there everything I need at the consultation, but I also have leave behind materials for them. And this is just personal stuff. You can absolutely change you got to speak from your heart. It's got to come across from you. So if there's certain things that you like that maybe helped you, you could include it. But for me, I just kind of use some basic stuff. And again, I put that information sheet that I showed you guys, this one right here. That's my very first thing, because when I get to the consultation and we sit down at a table, I take it out with my pen and I am writing down any and everything important that they have to say about their home, their why, and all those things, because I need that info. So I have that first and foremost. And then I have some sort of information sheet on Best Homes and myself, just something simple. And we can help you come up with that for you. I have the comps in there. And then I have this little thing. I have a worksheet and action items, which I'm going to show you. So my little worksheet is this right here. So I sit down with them, and before we start talking about pricing and I write anything in there, we haven't looked at the house yet, so I don't really write that in there. But I'll leave all of this blank. I'm sorry, before I go. And the reason is I want to sit down and talk with them, because if I haven't fully seen that house yet, I may change my mind when I get there. They may have a different motivation that changes my mind. They may need to sell in 30 days and get the Dodge out of there. So you've got to price it accordingly, things like that. So I don't fill this out. I put this in there blank. And then I also have an action items list that I created. And that is for me to leave behind, because I am assuming I'm getting this listing and they're going to have a little bit of homework to do. They're going to maybe have to clean their counters or little things, or maybe I need them to call the HOA and get all of the details for me. They need to fill out their spuds, things like that. This is like their action item list that I can leave behind. It has my name on it, has my phone number. I'm all in their face. And it's just a tool that I can give them. Hang on, get back. And then in the other side of the pocket, on the other side, it's stuff I just kind of have that I'm going to leave behind with them as well. And it's stuff like that Magnus has printed for us before. Like right now I have in mind, I don't have these, I didn't have these saved, so I don't have them on there, but this one says, I don't know if you can see it, preparing for photos. That's one of the things I'm sure you've seen in the office. I have it here at Scottsdale too. And then I also have just a home showing checklist. It's just like a memory jogger. It goes through, what to do. And I ask them, like, arrange for the pets to be gone, make the light bulbs all the same color, things like some of those little things. And so we have these that we can just make you look, they just make you look professional when you leave it behind. So these are all things, print materials that are covered for you through us. Magnus prints them for us. You can customize them. You can put your photo on them. Kelly will make them all customized to you, where it makes you look like a rock star. And then I also throw in, if I have extra, because I seem to always have extra flyers from my listings before. So sometimes I'll throw in, like I had this listing little brochure where I can show them we have really high quality, pretty materials that we're going to do for you as well. And then like this is a door knocker that I did. And so I kind of have that in there too, where they can see like we mean business. This is pretty stuff. This isn't just, you're coming in with very professional looking advertising. And then I always put in a blank spuds, and that way I can leave it behind whenever they sign up to list with us. And I don't have to get this to them, because I can't tell you how many times people do not have printers. And then I have to figure out how to get them the spuds. And it's just an extra trip. So if they don't list with you, take it. You don't have to leave this behind. So you're not just printing wasteful material, but you're going to have this on hand and ready. And I also just paper clip it. And the reason is it's going to have to be filled out and then scanned in, because you're going to have to upload it and all those things. So it's just, you're prepared. You have everything you need when you get there, and your listing consultation folder is built. Let's go. All right. So I was just showing you what was in it, those items. Okay. Let's talk about before the appointments. Communication is so critical when you're selling a home. They want to know what's going on. It's a very nervous situation for them. So if you start off very strong from the beginning, be confident when you call them, call to confirm, make sure that timing is good. If they don't answer, leave a message, say, I can't wait to, come see you all tomorrow and look at your home. I always send a follow-up text, and I send a follow-up text if they answer or if they don't, just so they have my phone number. If anything changes, please text me, all that kind of stuff. And so we are already in communication. And just like I'm saying, good communication from the beginning, it just sets things off in a very positive, trajectory, and you're set up for success. Let's see. I had this out of order, but I wanted to say, when you're doing your, whenever you're doing your prep work, and I mentioned that Armless sent us an email. They do this every month. This is an example of what was in the stats that they sent out. So they said right here, total inventory has a month-over-month increase of 5.2%. So you can see when they're sitting there looking, if you look at last year, there was only 11,000 properties on the market last year. We have almost 22,000. That is a huge difference. They need to understand this. They know the market is shifted. They know that they don't really know why. They don't know what all's going on and the details that controls a lot of that. So all of a sudden, everybody wanted to list their house because they feel like they missed the mark. And now, a lot of people came on quickly and we're still seeing it grow. So they need to understand that that's another reason it's critical to price their house right. Same thing down here. Average days on market. This sets the expectation, because we were back where if something was on the market 20 days, something was wrong with it. We are long gone from there too. And we're seeing a lot higher days on market. And this is the average. This isn't, like the highest or the average. So this is what I was talking about studying before you go, having this information, print this off. Take this with you, put this in your folder, share this with your client. Here we go. Hang on a second. I think I skipped one, guys. Sorry. Here we go. I did. That's why I'm confused. I scrolled too fast. So let's talk about the listing appointment. First of all, be on time. You're the professional on this. You've got to be on time. You've got to dress the part too. Nobody wants to hire a slob to sell their house. They don't. You are representing them. So look good when you go in there. You don't have to be overly shiny. You also need to mirror and match. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that term, mirror and match, but you need to mirror your audience. It doesn't mean you have the same thing on, but you don't want to go in there and $1,000 suit if they are just not even comfortable around that. You're not their person. And so, kind of know who you're talking to, dress the part, just look good. That's all. That's it. Just look good. Look like you are a professional. And then when you get to the door, sometimes they'll go, what do you want to do? Do you want to see the house? Do you want to sit down? They don't know what to do. They don't know. So you need to control the dynamic and just say, man, I would just love to sit down for a minute on the couch or at a table where we can talk and get, and get the discussion going. So you sit down and you have a really good conversation with them. Get to know them. Okay. Ask them, do they have kids, grandkids? What are their hobbies, different things? And then, tell them a little bit about you as well, because this is the thing, they're hiring you. They're letting you in their house. You're going to be spending time there. They need to be comfortable with you. And it's funny, once they also feel committed to you, the more they know you. And that's kind of important. One of the things is a relationship salesman. I always have been. Anytime I've ever sold anything or done anything, it is about the relationship for me. And that's what helps me be successful. If you're going in and it is totally a transaction for you, you may miss the mark on a lot of people, because this is a personal situation and it may take a little bit. You're going to be talking a lot and they need to trust you. They need to trust that you know what you're saying. They need to trust whenever you tell them we need to lower the price, that you're not just trying to get rid of a listing and you're not doing it for, selfish motivation, but it's truly the market. So letting them get to know you, you can know them, you're starting to build that. And it's super important. And then one of the most critical things you can do while you're discussing this is, what's your motivation? Why are they selling? This is a big thing to understand. Like we talked about a few minutes ago, if they have somewhere they have to be, a job in 30 days, or they have, they need to go, they need the money to buy another, they need to, it's someone, maybe it's a death and it's, like the family just wants to get this finished. You just don't know what it is, but understand their motivation, because that's going to help you price. And it's also going to help you understand where they're coming from and what their emotions are. And also back to mirror and match, that even goes in what they're saying. So let's say a client says, we don't have to sell. If I don't get this much, I'm not selling. You know what? Don't argue with them. Don't, just repeat it back and say, you know what? I understand you don't need to sell. I totally get that. So what would maybe be the least you would take? Or, understand where they're at, because everybody has a different motivation, and you're just going to get along a lot better with them. And then also, it is so easy to forget to ask the question, where are they moving and are they buying? So many times we're so concerned on the listing itself, we forget about there's a whole nother transaction sitting there waiting on us that we can get if we mention it. Even referrals, if they're moving out of state, ask them if they've started looking yet, ask them where they're going, and if they found an agent, and say, I would love to give you a referral, and go online. First of all, first class, we probably have agents everywhere. We have a lot of referrals we can pull that way. And then also get online, do, Google searches, anything, find someone, call them, see if you like them. If you do, then give their name out. And now you're going to get at least a referral out of that for having that conversation. Very important to do. Once you've kind of gotten to know each other and you've had all these, kind of had some discussions and you're feeling comfortable with them, ask them, say, if it's okay, why don't you give me a tour of the house now? And that's when I take my, my little info sheet that I showed you in the beginning, and I write down everything they say. Ask them on the tour, please share with me any update, upgrades or updates, or anytime you put money into the house, where's that at? Also, what are some things you love about it? Are there some special features that maybe I'm not seeing? They could have, like one of the listings I have right now, they had this big pull awning that's electric that comes out. They just had new Sombrella fabric put on it. It provides great shade. You would never know it was there if they didn't tell me that. It's things like that. You want to know every little detail, because things like that sell a house. And so ask lots of questions, take lots of notes as you walk through, and then go back and sit down. And then that's when you're going to discuss more pricing and stuff. You can't price a house totally until you've seen it all. And you've also now been talking to them. You kind of know how they're feeling about the things. You kind of know what you're dealing with, and you take all of that into consideration for the next part. So this is when I would present this. That's why it was out of order. I skipped my slide, but present something like that before you talk about pricing. They need to understand, because they've got something in their head, or they may not have something in their head, but this lays out the groundwork of what we're dealing with and what the market is doing. This is when I pull out this little worksheet. And so a lot of people, you'd be surprised, they don't know how real estate works. They don't totally understand the other side. And there's so many people calling them saying, there's a lot of discount brokerages out there say we list for 1%, Redfin, a lot of those companies, but they don't talk about the other side. And you get there and they don't understand that it's actually two percentages combined and what that really means. So I created just this little document just as a talking point. I put it on the table, and I tell them there's two sides to real estate. And I say, there's the listing agent. That would be me. Always talk like you have the deal already. That would be me. So when you hire me, it costs a certain percentage for me to sell your house. And you can put in there what you want to. You just write it in there. I'm willing to list this for 3%, 2%, 1%, whatever you come up with, you put it in there and say, with that, we do all of these things down there. We're going to have somebody come do really pretty professional photos for you. We're on the MLS, of course, which is where everybody sees it, which feeds a ton of different websites. There's probably 200 or more websites that MLS feeds. You're going to have a nice yard sign put on. We network. We do open houses if you're willing for that, and talk about the open house process a little. Say, we love to circle prospect before your open house even happens. Go tell your neighbors about it. Would you be interested in doing maybe a an open house, like happy hour on a Friday night before we do the open houses on Saturday, and we invite all the neighbors to come. So we get the nosy neighbors out of the way. So you actually know what true traffic you have on the Saturday and Sunday that we're going to do the open houses. Things like that. If it's a vacant home, ask them, say, do you care if I do open houses every day? I want to sell your house. I mean, let's be honest, the open houses are as much for us as anything, but if they have a vacant property, get their permission and use that as your new office until that house sells, or let other people use it as an office, because you could get one person come see it all day long, but that one person may not be represented, and now you have a buyer. It may not be for that property, but now you have someone to go help. That's how you get clients. Open houses are a phenomenal way to do it. So if it's only a minimum and they'll only let you do it on the weekend, do it. But if they'll let you do more, do it. But have that conversation with them. Talk about, we have very professional advertising. You can pull, that's when you can pull out of your folder some examples of some things that we have. We've got a team of experience, and I like to use the word team a lot. Why? Because that means Toby's not doing all the open houses. I want other people to be able to go do all of those open houses. If you're not available or you have multiple listings, you can't be everything to that listing. You can't do every one of them. And so we have people, by the way, all through our brokerage that has listings. And if you go out on MLS and you go under menu and go to company listings, you can see everything in our company that is listed. And if it's in your area, call that agent and see if they'd be okay with you doing an open house. They may be thrilled to let you, but that's how you do that. We have company listings and then office listings where you can kind of see the breakdown. And team of experience, that's what we are. And especially you newbies, don't stress about being new. Take one of us with you, to your listing consultation. If you're not comfortable, let's prep before it to get you comfortable. Use the word team a lot. When people say, they may ask you, how long have you done real estate? Start off with if they say that, so how long have you been in real estate? Say, well, it's actually my first year. It could be your first day. They do not have to know that unless they ask you specifically. Don't lie, but that may just cover it. If you say, I'm in my first year, but I have a fantastic team. We probably have 100 years of experience put together, and blah, blah, blah. So we can work on that verbiage to make sure you're not coming in there. Look, I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing. That's not what you need to say, because that's not at all what we're going to prepare you where you do know. Also tell them regular market review, clear communication, buyer agent feedback, 7 days available. We are 7 days available. Why? Because we have a team approach, and you can get someone else to go do an open house, or those showing time is all the time, right? And so we are available. So all of those things are important. And I use this little sheet just as a talking tool to go through what all we do for them, because there's a lot of discount brokerages out there and they say they're full service, but they really don't do anything for them. They do the bare minimums, and we don't. We shouldn't. Let's just say that you shouldn't. You need to take care of them, be concierge, take care of them. And so this little sheet will help you, talk through that. And so that's on the listing side. Now, on the buyer side, we want to sell your house, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller. We need to offer the other side a commission to that agent. Well, they will bring their clients in. And so you tell them what's the going rate for the market is. We were seeing, it was funny, that was dropping there for a while. We were seeing a lot 2s and 2 1/4s even popping in, and you'll still see some of those out there, but I don't know right now. It's up to you guys. You've got competition out there. I'm back at the 2.5%, 3% mark on the other side. If the client is willing, then and again, and I do on that buyer's agent side, I educate them, but I do tell them ultimately that's your choice, because that's your money you're spending, but this is what I recommend, and I won't do it for less than this amount or something like that. So you do control it, but you let them feel like they have a little say in there. So that's my tool on that. All right. So now you're going to talk about the price and the commission with them. So you go ahead and you fill in those blanks. And you tell them where you think it should be. They may think it should be higher. They may be perfectly fine with it. If they're fine with it, you write it in there and you've got a game plan. If they think it should be a little higher, pull back out that's when you're pulling out the comps. You're talking about what's active, you're talking about, like we talked about in your preparation, pull out all of that material and you're going to go over all of that with them. This is when you're setting the price and you're telling them why you think you need it. You're backing up your research and backing up your opinion with true data. And so you need to present it to them in a way that they see it clear too, because a lot of them really want to list still so high and it's not doing them any favors at all. So it's very important to pull that out and go over all of that with them. This is also just a little tidbit, and it's funny. I actually learned this from somebody I used to work with, and I thought it was funny when he said it, but there was so much truth to it. He would say he tries to see how long he can stay at a listing consult. He's like, they're going to become my new best friend, is my opinion. He's like, if they sit and spend 2 hours with me, he's like, they're not going to really want to go do that again with anybody else. So they're probably just going to hire you and be done. And they know you now, and now they want to work with you too. So it's both sides. It's like, oh my gosh, this is, she's offered me so much information and so much value. I want to go ahead and hire her. But, I do the same thing. Do not rush your listing consultations, because if you run in and you have another one set back to back and you've got to rush out of there and they're not done asking questions, how important does that client feel? They don't feel very valued at the moment. And so you need to make them feel important, and you give them attention. You talk to them. This could be a very emotional time for them. You don't know. Now, you're also going to get those that are like, can you hurry up, get out of here? And you know what? You mirror match. You get out of there. You get your work done. You get your conversation done. You talk about it and you head out, because you don't want to bug them either. So again, watch your audience and, do according. Let's see. Seal the deal. Okay, this is important. Again, assume you're getting the listing. Assume that you're getting the listing, and just kind of talk in that format. Confidence is super attractive. So the more you don't want to talk over anybody's head, but you just want to be confident in what you're saying, where they trust you about the market. If they say, you know what, we just need to talk it over and think about it. I'd say, I totally understand, but is there anything holding you back? Is there some additional information I could give you? Is there something I'm not offering that maybe someone else is? Have you gotten a lower, commission price? And that's when they may be truthful and go, actually, yeah, there was one person that came by and they said they would do it for X amount or whatever. And it's that's a percent difference or something like that. Well, at that point, if you feel good about the listing and you want it, you say, if you'll sign with me, I will match that right now, because I love your house. I have so enjoyed spending time with you, and I would absolutely love to take care of you. Now you made them very important again, and you're the one in front of them. You're the one that can move forward with things, and hopefully they'll jump on board with that now. That, again, is just verbiage you need to have ready to go. Okay, this is the deal. If they say yes, get as much done at this appointment as you can. So establish a timeline. You've got a lot of things that need to take place. You've got to prep. You've got to do the marketing. You've got to do stuff. So when are photos going to be done? Pick a date. Photos usually get back. You want to do them at least 48 hours before you go live, just where you have time to get them back and you can pick the ones you want and things like that. So set a time for photos. Also, when can the sign go in the yard? So the sign goes in the yard right before it goes live. However, maybe they're not quite ready, and you almost feel like they're like, we're not quite ready, but you're not totally sure, like they're going to list with you or not, all those things. I always pull out coming soon, because I say, well, nothing we can do. You're not officially on the market yet. You're just coming soon. And you can do a coming soon 30 days prior, by the way, of going live. 30 days is kind of a lot. I kind of like to do it maybe, 2 weeks, but it gets a sign in the yard. You can start getting sign calls. They've signed your listing document. So now they're going to list with you. They're not going to have any other conversations. They don't have time to think about it. Right. And so the coming soon kind of seals the deal a lot quicker if they're not quite ready. So I personally like to do that as well. Excuse me. Also talk about, what day you want to go live. And, I still like the traditional way of doing things, throwing it on there Thursday, like evening sometime, where it's live on Friday and you've got a brand new listing for the weekend. To me, I like to list it like that Thursday, and then Friday, maybe do an open house happy hour like we talked about for the neighbors, and then do open houses Saturday and Sunday to get the most activity you can on that first weekend. So see if this timeline works for them. Look at a calendar, pick out the exact dates, give them the, write down the exact dates. And then you're going to go over that listing folder that you brought with them. You're going to go over the listing photographs, like a checklist. You're going to go over, how to, what you need to do to prepare for showings and any kind of preparation, any kind of that kind of stuff you're going to go over with them. And then you pull out that action items sheet. That action item sheet is their homework. And so make a very good to-do list that you're leaving behind with them. And that's their homework to prepare. And you look like a professional, right? Everybody's on the same page. Now you leave, you've got all the information and you want to follow up. Excuse me. So I follow up with an email. I just threw 2 old emails in here, 2 different situations. This one, hey, Lisa, thank you for taking the time to let me come by the other day. The home is beautiful and the right buyer would love the potential. This was an older home in downtown Phoenix that would make a fantastic like Airbnb or something creative. And it was actually a law office. Okay, so it's a little different. So the terminology in this is just a little different. But as promised, below is the information I said I would send over. So I always attach a couple of things. So a net sheet. What a net sheet is I have an Excel version of that little worksheet where it has the percentages, and it takes the net sheet it takes the ask price, it takes away the commission. And then if there's any other things like, let's say they, owe money on their taxes, or they owe like a second installment of taxes or something like that. You can throw that in there where it just shows them kind of their takeaway. And so if we list for this is your walk away. And then if there's like a couple of the competition, I will often put the competition. I wanted to attach the competition to where you knew what was going on in your neighborhood. Price recommendations. I recommend you list that blank. And I kind of say why. Like we talked about, blah, blah, blah. Cost of selling. It's just a reiteration. Cost of selling for that, with Best Homes, and then the buyer's agent, how that works, and then documents and timeline. I just give them a little scenario of what to expect. If you decide to list, this is one that didn't agree at the moment. If you decide to list, we need to get our photographer to the house, blah, 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 and I talk about the little timeline of things. And that's my follow-up. Same thing over here. This one was a little different, is a little shorter. We talked about what to do. She had some to-dos to prepare, and it was just a different conversation, but the follow-up is critical. So I'll send that and thank them almost immediate. I confirm what we talked about. And if I got the listing, my follow-up is, this is our timeline. And I put those exact dates of when the sign's going in, the photos are happening, all of those things. So it is in writing and we're both on the same page, with everything. And so that follow-up email is very important. So all of the details for a yes, but a follow-up as well for a maybe, and then if you did not get that listing and it is a maybe, and you sent this email, well, if you didn't get a reply back, then you want to call and you definitely want to call and follow up. Maybe they don't answer, send them a text, say, just wanted to see, if you had any more thoughts, if I could answer any more questions, I would love to list your home, blah, 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 whatever. But the follow-up is critical. Now, one of the things I do on that information sheet that I started with, I keep that. So if they did not say yes, I have a folder of them. I put them in my database, but sometimes hands-on is a reminder. And I'll sometimes just look through my folder of and I call them these are just live possibilities, right? I've had the consultation and I just need to continually stay in front of them. And that's how you get the listing, guys, because they may not have been ready yet, but if you're the one following up and you're the one offering valuable information, keep in contact with them. If you didn't get the listing, okay, let's say one of the neighbors went under contract, be the first one to tell them, hey, I just wanted you to see that the neighbor went under contract. I called the other agent and they said it's a little less than ask, about around 15 grand under. I just wanted to let you know what was going on. you know, da, 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 da. So you're still being their agent, even though you haven't been hired yet, but you're giving them valuable information. Then you're going to eventually, hopefully get that listing. But the follow-up is the key to that, because everybody else is in their face too. So you just have to offer value. I love tools, you know, anything that's valuable to them. Comps are valuable to them. What's going on in the neighborhood is valuable to them. Anything like that that can help them with that sell. I want to talk really quick and follow back up on the whole for sale by owner thing. Like I said, it's a little bit different listing consultation because it's not, sometimes it will be one and you can just go through the same format because they have agreed to sit down. But most of the time, the for sale by owners, you're just asking them, you know, can I come look around the property? Can I, you know, I have a cash offer. I'd like, I have investors. I have a ton, you know, you all probably get those texts. Hey, do you have any properties? I'm looking for something to flip. You know, we get these emails and these texts all the time. Keep those phone numbers. Always keep those phone numbers. As soon as you get one of those texts, throw it into a spreadsheet, throw it into a group email, whatever. And when you go to these consultations, if it is a house that you think would be any kind of potential for a cash offer or a investor, ask them, say, I really want to share this. I have a huge list of investors. I have some out-of-state buyers, things like that. Do you mind if I go ahead and take some photos now just with my phone? And so I go through the house and I take pictures of every room and all the details. And then I go through and I video, because Open Door likes a video. And so you video, you go from like floor to ceiling and you go through every room and you do everything. So I have that as a tool for me. So if I get home, I've been on this listing consult and this house would really be like, they're going to have, I went into one listing consult, there was 9 cats and 3 babies, and there was gates and it smelled horrendous. The litter box was the size of a small closet. It was gigantic. And I thought, wow, this is going to be fun, you know? And so I worked hard for a cash offer for them. I found one that they didn't get quite as much as what they would have if they listed, but they may very well had, because I don't know. That was that house would have been a hard sell. I took them that cash offer later because I took all those photos home and I went back and I said, I actually found your cash offer. And we went under contract very quickly. And I never had to, I still put a sign in the yard because I had it as coming soon. And so I was able to get, you know, possibility of sign calls, but really I didn't even need to do that because within a week I'd found a cash offer. The clients were thrilled. We went under contract. So never disregard those texts you get too. There are people out there looking for houses. They're looking for rentals. They're looking for flips. And maybe some of those houses are awesome options for them. All right. That's about it. Do y'all have questions for me?
I have a question.
Thanks. Okay.
So I actually have a listing appointment this weekend. He actually has several houses, but it seems like most of them are going to be more so like investment type properties. You know, they're more land and kind of have houses that haven't really been taken care of that he kind of just wants to get rid of. So how would you approach a listing that you know is most likely going to be, you know, like a cash type sale or something of the sort? How do you deal with that differently?
I would absolutely go to opendoor.com and get a cash offer, because this is how Open Door works. If somebody's already requested it in the last 30 days, it's not going to let you get one. It won't even give you the option. It says, oh, it looks like you've already been here or something like that. I can't remember the terminology, but it's not gonna work, you know? And so, but so many of them have not reached out anymore. And, you know, their advertising and everything isn't as much right now. They're in a weird spot. So actually Brandon and I were working on this the other day, and some of them are crap. They are so low. Then he got one that it was literally as high as what we could sell the house for. It was perfect. It was the ideal situation. So they're still out there. It just depends. So maybe these properties like you're talking about, I would go ahead and get as many Open Door offers. So if you even can take, even if you can only, like, if you have 6 properties and there's only 2 of them that you can get a cash offer, it still looks like you're working for him, and say, I need pictures and I need a video. And then I may be able to get you some other offers. And then you can also, you know, try to list them if you want, but
can I say something too? Who was that? Said that Heller? Heather, can you send me all of those deals like whenever you've got them? Because I have 15 people I need to get in front of with distressed properties. So that's perfect. So
Yes.
before you do anything, let me just send them over to me, please.
Yeah, Brandon's been working the investors and the for sale by owners, and that's exactly what we're talking about here. These distressed properties are what they're looking for. And now some of them are some crazy lowball offers, but you know what? Some people don't care. They didn't pay much for it and they just want rid of it and they know it's going to be a headache. And so maybe they'll go ahead. You just don't know. You just don't know. That's what I mean. But the thing is, you are looking like you're doing your job when you're bringing it to the table. And if you know it's a lowball offer, go, I am so sorry. I know this is low. I mean, acknowledge it. It's not that you're offering it, somebody else is. You still need to present it to the client. You're still working for them and showing them value.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Really quick, so you're saying to try to find cash buyers for sale by owners through Open Door?
Yeah, and I'm going
Okay.
to tell you, it's going to be a harder thing than it used to. I'm just saying it takes you 5 minutes. And it's a good possibility, you know, if it is an option, take it.
Okay.
But it may not be. I'm just used to, you could get one for almost everything. But, and now I think Open Door and OfferPad combined, didn't they? So I don't know, used to, you could get a couple, but honestly, go to opendoor.com and do it. You're going to create a login and you're going to have like a little account with them. And it will show you every property that you have gotten the offer for. Just for a warning, you have 7 days to claim that offer. So don't do it and don't go wait to go see somebody for 2 weeks. Do it right before you're going, or, try to get the appointment quickly because you don't want to wait too long because you don't want somebody else to put in the house and get the offer, because any agent can do it. If another agent goes and requests an offer, now you can't. And so it doesn't matter if they're even your client yet. You say, I'm requesting, you put in the address and you say, I want an offer. It asks you questions about it and it will say, are you a seller? Are you an agent? Or it says, are you an agent representing the seller? Or are you an agent and is this for a potential seller? All of them are equally the same. It doesn't matter. You click yes. They didn't have to be your client, so you don't have to lie. Say yes, this is a potential. You still get 1%. So the way Open Door works, you don't really do anything. They're just going to give you 1%. Alan just went through this with one of his rentals that came back a great offer, and it really wasn't that long ago. And he closed on his that way. It was a 1%. It's done. And, you get 1%. They take 5% off the top. That's a whole nother conversation, how it totally works. But, the 1% goes to you and they're working on the closing. They're handling all that. They have all their own people and they deal with it. You just kind of answer the questions with the client along the way to make sure they're on the right timeline.
Hey, Toby, do
Yes.
you do that with OfferPad as well by chance?
Yeah, offer pads are typically lower, but maybe I'm making this up, but I'm almost positive the two companies have now merged. Because but I'm not going to put that in writing. I'm not sure, but you can always try it, but it may be the same offer. I'm not sure, but yeah, offerpad.com does the same. The problem with them is they want pictures before they give you a offer. And so you would have to go to the house and get the photos so you couldn't take the offer with you to the listing consult. So that's why I always started with Open Door. But when I came back home and I was working, on it, I would then check, OfferPad. And then I would literally take the pictures I took and text them to every investor and say, potential off-market property, right? Because it's not on the market yet. Off-market property. Anybody want to make an offer? And you're going to get some offers. They might be low, but if you get your investor list high enough and it's a decent property, if it looks like it's a property that needs some work, they're going to make an offer. Any more questions?
Hey, Toby, Adolfo here. Hey, how do you determine, as far as when you're putting a sign in front of for a condo or a townhome, do we call the HOA, or how do you determine what you can and can't put on there?
Yeah, HOA is going to determine those rules. I haven't found that you just don't always take the seller's advice. Sometimes they don't know that either. So call the HOA and get the rules on that where you don't get in trouble.
All right, thanks.
Mhm. Any other questions?
Yeah. Hey, Toby, are you able to share the slideshow with us or maybe send us an email with some of the documents in it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Thank you.
all of this is to be, you can have anything I've got. A lot of these are just documents I kind of created. I actually been meaning to get our awesome support to make them prettier, some of them, but they work great. So yeah, I can send out the documents, the slideshow, whatever y'all need.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, well, interrupt me if not, but guys, there's a lot of listings out there to get. And I told, there's a lot of people that didn't enter the market that still want to sell their house. And so the listings are out there for sell by owners. If you go to Zillow, I shared this on another call. If you go to Zillow and you look and you click on sell, or I think it's buy. I guess it's buy because you're looking as a buyer. And you go to for sale by owner is the next option. And you click on it, it will let you set the frequency, but it will give you real-time emails as soon as one hits the market on Zillow. And what's cool about that is it has the photos, you're looking at it, they want to sell. And if you scroll down, it has their real phone number. So the address because the house is for sale and you have their phone number. And so those are also a way to get in. You've kind of got to get down that verbiage. That's, like I said, a whole nother topic, but those listings are out there to get to. Anything else? All right, Melissa, I guess back to you. You want to close it?
Thank you so much, Toby. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email toby@besthomesrealestate.com. But as
Quick
far
question.
as the documents, we will send out the PDFs. But yes, Herb.
That was my question. Thank you.
I'll say, yeah, we'll send out the PDFs to it. I'll share them we'll get them to everybody.
We'll get them jazzed up. We'll put them in the seller toolbox, and we'll also send them over to Kelly at Magnus Title. So if you want some printed for your buyer present or your seller presentations, she will have those on our file. But thank you all so much. This recording will be in the Best Homes Academy if you want to go back and view it. And of course, it's on our Facebook Live. There's a lot of golden nuggets. I personally will go back and rewind some of it to write it all down. But thank you so much, Toby, for all this great information. And you all enjoy your Wednesday. And until next time, have a good day.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
What was Toby's email again?
It's Toby, Toby. I'm sorry, go ahead, Melissa.
Toby@besthomesrealestate.com.
Thank you.
TOBY@besthomesrealestate.com.
Gracias, Toby.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.